this week on Inside Oswego Speedway. The road to the championship continued for the Novella Supermodifieds and the Pathfinder Bank SBS, presented by Seeds Farm Market and Beverage Center and RJ Caruso Tax and Accounting. A bizarre night at the Speedway provided several ups and downs, but at the end of the evening, it was two first-time winners in 2013 pulling into Turning Stone Resort Casino Victory Lane. Stay tuned for all the highlights from last Saturday night on this week's edition of Inside Oswego Speedway. A heavy downpour earlier in the afternoon couldn't stop things from getting started at Oswego Speedway on Saturday as the SBS pits begin to prepare for hot laps. One of the drivers back in the division this season is Brian Sobis.
Well, it's actually the same car I've driven for a lot of years now, so I'm really familiar with it and everything, but we're still struggling to get hooked up. I mean, this is just such a tough class, and it's just gotten tougher over the years. Been out of it too long, and we're getting there though. I mean, we were like third quick in the last warm-up, so I feel good with it going into tonight. We haven't been fast. We just finished and I guess avoided a lot of the wrecks, which we've been fortunate to do. So that kind of put us in the top 10 and kills us with handicaps, so we had to start last, but we'll get going. I mean, we're a little faster tonight than we were the last couple of weeks, so I'm happy.
Back in the Supermodified division for the first time in 2013 on Saturday night was Stephen Joyen, the backup Strong Racing machine. But unfortunately, his Strong Racing teammate Michael Barnes would run into issues during the first warm-up session with a rear end problem in the bottom of the number 99 Supermodified.
We just the second practice session we blew a short shaft out of the rear end. Virtually just that short shaft snapped off and thing jumped out of gear. And that was that. We got it replaced, and we'll be ready to go for the heat.
With his issues behind him, Barnes would continue through the night as the Supermodified point leader.
I think we're running good as long as we can just stay out of trouble. I'm very confident in the team and the car. I'm not worried about that whatsoever. I mean, you're going to have bad nights. You're going to have good nights. We've been fortunate to have 4 good ones so far. So if we can just keep going, take 1 week at a time, hopefully we can be there at the end.
With Barnes having issues in warm-up, so too would his championship rival, Otto Sitterly, as he had issues getting his primary Supermodified to fire during the first warm-up session, moving him to his backup ride. But eventually they found this small piece of metal was in the magneto, causing the primary number 7 machine not to fire, but eventually they would be able to fix the issue. They switched out the mag, and Otto was able to get going. A night that several would just as soon forget at Oswego Speedway on Saturday was kicked off by this incident in Novella's Supermodified heat racing action between Michael Muldoon and Brian Sweeney. As you can see, Sweeney got a little bit sideways out of corner number 4, came back across the speedway, and Michael Muldoon in the 51 machine with nowhere to go just caught the right rear of the Sweeney Supermodified at right around the start-finish line and would actually send him right up into the catch fencing here on the front stretch as you get another slow motion look at it down here on the front straightaway, but the catch fencing doing just as it was designed to do, forcing the Muldoon car and all of its pieces back out onto the front straightaways. You get a look now from the GoPro in-car camera of Muldoon down the front stretch, and literally nowhere to go for Muldoon, and it all happened in just a split second as the number 50 machine would land on all 4 wheels down on the front stretch. Another slow motion look at it down here on the front straightaway as Sweeney comes to the right. Muldoon goes just up and over the gate, tagging that top fence. Fortunately for both drivers, Muldoon and Sweeney, they would both be okay as they each would climb out from behind the wheel of their wrecked and mangled race cars down here in the first corner. We had to take about a 15 to 20 minute break to repair the catch fencing that once again did its job, and not long after we were back to heat racing at Oswego Speedway. The summer of fun continues at Oswego Speedway. Saturday, July 6th, Days In and Nights In of Oswego presents Toys for Tots Christmas in July. Bring a new and unwrapped toy to the Speedway and receive a free hot dog combo meal. Enjoy a full night of racing action plus activities for the kids, including a rare appearance by Santa Claus and fireworks that end the night. For more information, visit online at OswegoSpeedway.com. Don't miss Christmas in July, Saturday, July 6th at Oswego Speedway. Inside Oswego Speedway is brought to you by Novelis. Not just aluminum, Novelis aluminum. Pathfinder Bank, local community trust. Eagle Beverage, we bring the beer to you. Oswego Bike Fest, riding, rocking, and racing Oswego Speedway. And by Best Western Plus Quality Inn and Suites of Oswego. The Pathfinder Bank SBS Series would kick off main event racing on Saturday night, presented by RJ Caruso Tax and Accounting and C's Farm Market and Beverage Center, with Josh Kerr in car number 8 starting up there on the pole position to the inside of SBS rookie Danny Apt. In the 4.7s Motorsports, car number 57 right there on the outside of row number 2. Apt's teammate Cameron Rowe would start to the inside of row 2 alongside of AJ Burness. As you can see, Mike Bond in the 74 car making an early move to get up into position number 4. But as the field would slide down the front straightaway to complete lap number 1, yellow lights would hit the speedway for an issue further back with the deuce of Robbie Pullen in the Woodchuck Saloon, car number 2. As you can see, Pullen here had to make his way back to the pit area. Under this caution, we had our first issue with the lights for the evening. As you can see, nearly dark now as we would get back underway. About a 25-minute delay would have to take place as the front straightaway lights would go out, but eventually they got that situation cured. We would go back to racing, but ran into another issue on this complete restart. As you see, the 18 of Andrew Schartner facing the wrong way down the front straightaway. We would try it one more time with Kerr and Apt again up there in row number 1, and this time it was the rookie Danny Apt in the 57 car getting the edge on the outside of the speedway. He would pull out into the early race lead with Kerr, Burness, Cameron Rowe, and Mike Bond filing single file back in there as the number 98 of Jason Simmons and the 13 of Russ Brown begin to do battle going into corner number 3. Brown in the 13 looking to the high side of the speedway, trying to keep pace with Mike Bond in the 74. Brown the point leader. Bond came into the day running 6th in the standings, but was looking to rebound and move his way back further up. In order to do that, he was going to have to move his way through the field, and right here he pulls to the inside of his teammate, the 77 of Rowe, next looking at the 24 of Burness going into corner number 3. And it's not often that you see Mike Bond starting this far up in the starting order. But remember, he had issues just 2 weeks ago with a 24th place finish with a right rear issue on that number 74 machine. So Bond able to start up there in the first 3 rows, and he would waste no time slicing his way through the field, now up into the runner-up spot, pulling his way underneath the 8 of Josh Kerr. After another early caution, Bond would restart right on the back bumper of the 57 of Danny Apt, and on lap 6, you would have a new race leader down the back straightaway as Bond again pulls to the low side on another car, going into corner number 3 to take the lead in the 74 machine. Josh Kerr, who ran well early on in this one, stays ahead of AJ Burness in the 24, the 77 of Rowe, and the 13 of Brown, who was trying to use the high side of the speedway to make his way by Rowe in the 77. AJ Burness, though, would slip a little bit high. That allowed Rowe to slide on through in the 77. Brown would work his way in there as well, with Jason Simmons looking for racing room also in car number 98. Chris Proud in that 3 car just behind. They would tuck to the low side out of corner number 2 and advance another position forward as Burness gets shuffled on back a few positions in car number 24. Rowe would next move his way up through the field here, going underneath the 8 of Kerr into corner number 3. As Rowe works his way to the inside out of that 4th corner, it leaves the door open for Brown to come through as well, with Simmons in the 98, Proud in the 3, and Burness in the 24, looking for that same racing room to the inside out of corner number 2. Kerr was able to hang on for a few more laps until Brown this time makes his way to the low side in corner number 3 to move up one more spot in the FX Caprara Car Company's car number 13, as he next would try to chase down Apt in second and Rowe in third in that 77 machine. As they file down into corner number 1, you can see Mike Bond able to build quite a lead in that 74 machine. Danny Apt, the rookie, gets a little high between corners number 1 and 2. That allows Rowe to slip underneath and move into the runner-up position. Rowe, of course, your defending Bud Light SBS Classic champion, and the number 77 would move up into that runner-up spot, but just was not able to chase down Bond out in front. Bond, of course, running a lap of 18.9 seconds earlier this season, has been arguably the fastest car on the speedway nearly each and every week, but has not had an opportunity to run this high up in the order. A late race caution with only 4 laps to go for the 01 of Dalton Doyle, as he found the wall in corner number 3, would give Rowe, Apt, and Brown one more chance at Bond in that 74 car, but again, he checked out and would go on to win here on RJ Caruso Tax and Accounting and C's Farm Market and Beverage Center night at the Speedway. Rowe came home second, Apt in third for a 4-7's Motorsports sweep on Saturday night. Russ Brown came home fourth with Jason Simmons completing the top 5, as Mike Bond goes down to Turning Stone Resort Casino Victory Lane.
Yeah, car's been good all year. We just get caught up in some other stuff, and it's tough coming from the back. A lot of guys are quick this year, and just starting the spots, a lot of it. Car was jumping out of gear, so I had to hold it in gear with one hand and drive with the other, so I was just taking it easy. It all worked out. I got to thank my crew and my owner, Denise, and all my sponsors and everything for sticking with me. I just got to thank, Mays Bottling and Restaurant. He's been with me for a while. CPS Electric, Premier Landscaping. If you guys need any landscaping done, call Steven at Premier Landscaping. And Millennium Music. I just want to thank these guys. They've been with me for a while. Thank Denise Merrill, my wife, son, everybody that helps out.
Yeah, we've been fighting all season, Come off a classic win, you come into this thinking, we had a great car last year. I come into this year, anticipating great things, and we just kind of stepped on ourselves a little bit. But we started making headway there, and then we hit the wall there a few weeks back, and we kind of got it back again, and I think we're back right about where we were before. Now we're just going to make some more minor adjustments to this car, and I think we'll be able to put it in victory lane.
I mean, the car was good. I had a little bit of a push, but it was fun. Mike passed me. I pushed up a little bit. Then I was kind of running with him. I felt like I was right there with him for a couple laps, and then he just kind of walked away, but the car was good.
Apt would hang on for the Nice Price Auto Sales Up and Comer Award, while Craig Harris took home the DNS Landscaping Hard Charger. Russ Brown would pick up your White's Car Care 4th Place Award, while Bond would dominate on his way to victory, collecting the Sherwood Racing Wheels Lap Leader Award. Russ Brown still your SBS Track Championship point leader, but Mike Bond would move from 6th all the way up into 2nd, only 25 points behind your leader Brown. Jason Simmons, Harris, and J.J. Andrews are your top 5. Oswego Speedway presents its Summer of Fun starting this weekend. Saturday, July 6th, it's Toys for Tots Christmas in July. Don't miss Santa Claus at the Speedway starting at 4:30. Saturday, July 13th, it's the 5th annual ISMA Supermodified King of Wings. Who will wear the cape and crown? Then, July 18th through the 20th, it's historic Sunoco Race of Champions weekend, featuring the ground-pounding ROC Modified. It's the Summer of Fun at Oswego Speedway, starting this Saturday with Toys for Tots Christmas in July. Inside Oswego Speedway is brought to you by Novelis. Not just aluminum, Novelis aluminum. Pathfinder Bank, local community trust. Eagle Beverage, we bring the beer to you. Oswego Bike Fest, riding, rocking, and racing Oswego Speedway. And by Best Western Plus Quality Inn and Suites of Oswego. Saturday evening's nightcap would be the 50-lap Novelis Supermodified main event presented by RJ Caruso Tax and Accounting and C's Farm Market and Beverage Center, with Tim Devendorf and Dave Danzer up there on row number 1. Pat Lavery and the Double Deuce would start inside of row number 2 alongside of Timmy Snyder. As the field pulls single file down the back straightaway, Dave Cliff in the 06 and Sean Goslin in the 26 doing battle early on. Goslin and Cliff running very well here in the past couple of weeks. Dave Gruhl in the 50 machine would find his way to the inside of Goslin, coming out of corner number 4 as he moves down the front straightaway and into corner number 1. The battle up front early on would be a 3-car runaway between Devendorf in the 5, Danzer in the 52, Lavery in the 22. And eventually, Devendorf and Danzer would even check away from Lavery in the double deuce as Gruhl in the 50 continues to work his way through the field, next moving around the 01 of Danny Connors, as he next would try to chase down Timmy Snyder in the 0 down the back straightaway. Well, as we said, Devendorf and Danzer would slowly check away from the field. Devendorf pushes high out of corner number 4 on lap 20. Danzer would slip by to the point. However, caution lights would wave, and that would force the field to go back to the last completed lap. As you can see here, the 50 of Gruhl, the 00 of Gozik, the 99 of Barnes, as well as the 66 of Lou LeVay Sr. would come together. Gruhl would actually tag the back of the 66 car, trying to work his way to the inside of the 0 of Timmy Snyder. The caution would be called on the 66 and the 50. Gruhl would have to go to the tail side of the field. Both Gozik and Barnes would be given their spots back on the racetrack. Well, that was until Barnes found the outside wall on the restart. As you can see here, the number 99 and the 7 of Sitterly, your 2 championship leaders, would come together going into corner number 3. Sitterly would spin as Barnes and Curran would both find the outside wall in 3 and 4. Sitterly would also have to go to the pit area in the 7 machine. He managed to get back onto the racetrack at about lap 36 to get another couple laps around the speedway. Sitterly would finish 14th. Barnes would finish 16th. As you can see, a lot of damage to the right front of the Strong Racing car number 99. On the restart for this one, this time it was Sean Goslin in the 26 getting to the outside of the speedway as he starts to work on the 01 of Danny Connors in the Paul's Big M machine. Goslin improving week in and week out. Of course, he was the most improved driver at the speedway back in 2012. Quite often you see a driver gaining speed but having issues still trying to find passes on the speedway. But Goslin seems to slowly be figuring that one out as he goes to the top side, working his way on by Connors in the 01. Next pulls up behind the 0 of Timmy Snyder, going into corner number 3, and just like that, Goslin is up and into position number 4. Next chasing down the 22 of Lavery, riding in that 3rd spot. Well, once again, it was Devendorf and Danzer running away with this one out in front. Danzer clearly quicker than the 5 machine, but he showed a lot of patience, waiting for the right time to try to slip to the inside of Devendorf, and on lap 39, Danzer would make it happen, looking for his 3rd career Novella Supermodified main event win. Danzer, the new leader, down into corner number 1. Further on back, Lavery still riding in there in 3rd, but he began to slow going into corner number 3 at about lap 43. And look at this move here, 3 wide down the front straightaway. Goslin decided to go to the low side. Snyder would go to the top side, and that would put the 0 from 5th all the way up into 3rd in just 1 straightaway. As Goslin slips back to 4th, Dave Cliff with his best career Supermodified run, running right there in position number 5 in the Laws engine repair car number 06. But with Danzer out in front here completing lap number 44, caution would once again hit the speedway, this time for the 23 of Clayton Brewer III, as well as the 20 machine of Michael Muldoon, who would start the main event in his backup ride. Well, at the same time, the lights would actually go out for the 4th time, and that would force race officials to call this one complete. And that would hand Dave Danzer his 3rd career Novella Supermodified main event win, coming over Tim Devendorf and Timmy Snyder.
It's definitely a weird night, but car was decent. It wasn't very good, but Timmy made me work for it. He ran a great race. He was right in the groove where I needed to be, and he made that one little mistake. He drove in a little deep, and I just had to gas up real quick, pull it up against the race on the front stretch. But he's a great guy. I love parking next to the guy, and I wish he could win it, but I'll take it.
Well, you never know. I mean, I heard Dave behind me. I knew he was behind me, and he was working me over pretty good. And I just knew one slip up and he'd get by me, and my car started to get a little bit loose toward the end there, and it was just enough to, get me a little bit high in that turn. And I seen him under me, and he did a nice clean pass, and it's a good win for Dave. It's a good finish for me. It's my best finish up here, and couldn't have done the lights out a couple laps earlier when I was leading. I mean, come on. But hey, that's the breaks, and that's the way it goes. So, we had a good run, got it home in one piece, and again, congrats to Dave and RJ Caruso and Oswego Speedway for sticking it out with all the problems they had tonight.
I like to say I closed my eyes, but no, I picked the high side. Sean went low, and the 22 must have bogged down, whatever. And the whole open, so I got lucky. Yeah, we're getting there. We don't sit around all winter. We think about things, we change things, and sometimes it hurts you and sends you backwards. And we've been slowly creeping up on it. I mean, it's easier to start up front, a lot of melee back in the back. So we start up front, so everything's good. I got to thank the sponsors and all the guys standing behind us and supporting the team. The crew working their tails off. We've been trying to do these Friday nights to get this thing dialed in where we should be. I don't know if I had anything for Timmy. I don't think I had anything for Sean. I caught up to him, which felt good. And timer's running out, and I was happy where I was, but I'll take the third.
Quite a shakeup on Saturday in the Novella Supermodified Track Championship standings, with Joe Gosick now taking the point lead by only 5 markers over Otto Sitterly. Barnes would fall from first all the way down to third in the Strong Racing 99. Goslin sits fourth. Dave Danzer up into the top 5. The summer of fun continues at Oswego Speedway. Saturday, July 6th, Days In and Nights In of Oswego presents Toys for Tots Christmas in July. Bring a new and unwrapped toy to the Speedway and receive a free hot dog combo meal. Enjoy a full night of racing action plus activities for the kids, including a rare appearance by Santa Claus and fireworks that end the night. For more information, visit online at OswegoSpeedway.com. Don't miss Christmas in July, Saturday, July 6th at Oswego Speedway.